Well, as Israel begins a relationship with a new U.S. administration, there are many questions as to Trump's methods in making the U.S. and the world more secure. Joining us to discuss what we are likely to see in the upcoming state visit is former Israeli Ambassador Yoram Ettinger, who served as a congressional affairs liaison in the Israeli embassy in Washington and is also, of course, a leading expert on U.S.-Israel relations and the Middle East. Ambassador Ettinger, thank you so much for joining us. What can we expect to see from this upcoming visit to Washington of Netanyahu?
First and foremost, we're going to witness, in my mind, a dramatic shift from the previous administration, which was driven by the State Department that did not want a Jewish state in 1948 and could not stop criticizing Israel since 1948. President Trump, during his first administration, literally expelled the State Department from the center stage of shaping, navigating foreign policy, national security policy. And in my mind, we'll see continuation of that pattern this time. It means also different attitude by the U.S. towards the UN and international organizations, namely reluctance by the U.S. to collaborate with the UN and international organizations, which have been a major source of anti-Israel sentiments.
Now, Netanyahu has stated that he will not agree to any deal that ends the war permanently or prevents Israel from a return to fighting in order to keep Hamas out of power. Can a deal even be made with those terms? I mean, we know that Witkoff is here working on this, the next stage of the ceasefire. We know that's one of the topics expected to be discussed in Washington. Can this ceasefire be salvaged?
In fact, no real sustainable long-term deal can be achieved with Hamas still in control in Gaza. And the only way to get rid of Hamas control is through a military action. The President Trump's vision, as he expressed this, is to bring an end to wars and terrorism. There's no way you can bring an end to terrorism while allowing Islamic terrorism to triumph. The same thing, by the way, about Iranian terrorism. In order to bring an end to terrorism and wars throughout the globe, you have to get rid of the major critical epicenter of global terrorism, drug trafficking, money laundering, and proliferation of advanced military systems, which is the Ayatollah's regime in Iran. Hopefully, the Prime Minister will present President Trump with the facts suggesting or documenting that diplomatic option towards Iran, which was upheld by the U.S. for 46 years, bolstered the anti-U.S. Iranian terror machine. Economic sanctions, which were applied by President Trump during his first term, indeed inflicted very serious damage to the Iranian economy, but did not moderate Iran.
Now, Ambassador Ettinger, we have just under a minute, so I'm going to need you to be brief, but I've got to get your take on this. We saw Trump's call to relocate Gazans to Egypt and Jordan, and of course, they rejected this. Why won't the Arab states take in refugees, even temporarily?
Well, I think it's a message to anyone who is preaching to establish a Palestinian state. Arabs do not want a Palestinian state. They talk about it, but the walk is anywhere from indifferent to negative because of the Palestinian track record among Arabs. In the 1950s, they terrorized Egypt. 60s, they terrorized Syria. 1970, they terrorized Jordan. During 1970s, they terrorized Lebanon. 1990, they joined Saddam Hussein's invasion of Kuwait. The Arabs are aware that a Palestinian state would add fuel, not water, to the Middle East fire, and therefore they don't want Palestinians to come to their land, and certainly they don't want a Palestinian state in the Middle East.
All right, well, we are unfortunately out of time, but I want to thank you for your insights on all of these issues today. Thank you, Ambassador Ettinger.
Thank you.